everybody, and welcome back to Books and Things with Joan. I'm elated to have you here. I'm happy to have you. I'm excited to have you back. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time watching, and if you're a returning subscriber, happy to always have you back in the gang. So I'm really excited today because I'm actually making my second video on Leo Tolstoy's story series. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the really intriguing stories in the book, and the title is How Much Land Does a Man Need? How much land does a man need? Well, it's really straightforward, isn't it? How much land do you need? Now let's just imagine that, just imagine your favorite place in the world, and imagine they give you the opportunity to travel and go there and take as much land as you feel like you need or as you want. How much land do you think you're going to take? Don't be in a rush to answer. Just take your time and think about how much land you're going to take. If somebody could give you a whole country, like land equivalent to a country, just say like Cameroon, Canada, whatever, will you be able to accept the land, and what do you do with it? Well, that's the story for another day. Today we're going to focus on how much land does a man need, and Leo Tolstoy actually elaborates on how much land a man needs through this story. It's really a very funny read, and I particularly like the end. It's a story about this guy who was poor, and he started accumulating land bit by bit. Each time he got land, he felt like it just wasn't enough. He felt like he needed more. And he went to this village where it told him, you can have as much land as you need, but the condition for you to get that land is for you to go around the land and come back by sunset. So you go at dawn and you make sure that you go around it by yourself and you get back before the sun sets. And this guy was so elated. He's like, oh my god, so I can go around this land, and as much as I can go around is going to belong to me. And they're like, yeah, just go around the land, and when you get back here, the land's yours. Just mark it whenever you go around. So the guy took off and he started going. Whenever he saw land that was beautiful, he marked it, and he kept on going because the land was just so vast and it was just so beautiful, and he couldn't stop. And by the time he could realize it was almost sunset, he started making his way back, because if you don't make it back on time, you're actually going to lose every single thing or every single land you have. So he started rushing to make his way back, and with the tiredness and his feet were sore, he was hungry, he's been walking since morning. By the time he got back to the gathering spot, to the spot where he was supposed to arrive after he went through his land collecting ceremony, by the time he got to the spot where all the elders were, he was so weak and he fell down and died. Yeah, so literally he went around the land, he got as much land as he got, but he couldn't own the land because he was so exhausted, and he died. And this is what the last part reads. Pahom's servant came running up and tried to raise him, but he saw that the blood was flowing from his mouth. Pahom was dead. The Bakshirs clicked their tongues to show their pity. His servant picked up the spade and dug a grave long enough for Pahom to lie in, and buried him in it. 6 feet from his head to his heels was all he needed. His servant picked up the spade and dug a grave long enough for Pahom to lie in, and buried him in it. 6 feet from his head to his heels was all he needed. And that's the end of the story. That's literally the last sentence of the story. And when I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, how much land do we really need? And I want to take this discussion beyond land. Let's take it beyond land. How much things do we need? How much? And what are you going to do to be able to get these things? There are a lot of things people are willing to do to get land, and not just land, a lot of things. Like, people will do all sorts of things to get money, to get wealth, to get fame, to get land. And this story in itself just asks you, how much do you need? Paul, for instance, he thought he needed a whole village to be able to be happy, or to be able to feel like he's achieved his dreams, or be self-actualized, or whatever you call it. But in reality, all he needed was 6 feet. That's what he was buried in. And he didn't actually live to enjoy the land. So this is my take from the story. First lesson I learned from this story is that you need to know when to stop. Yeah, you need to know when to stop. You need to know when to stop whatever thing you're chasing. Whether you're chasing money, whether you're chasing fame, or you're chasing love, or you're chasing, like, whatever it is you're after, it's important for you to know when to stop. The man in the story, Pahum, for instance, he didn't know when to stop going around the land. He was so consumed and excited by what he saw, he didn't estimate his ability to sustain himself, or what will happen to him after he's had all these things. You know, there are people who spend their whole lives working to amass wealth. And when they get the wealth, they don't have the energy, the zeal, or the excitement to enjoy the wealth. And they realize that you spend more than half of their lives chasing wealth, and they actually didn't live. So like I said before, you need to know when to stop. And when do you stop? That's like the next question, because I myself, I asked myself this question, like, if you need to know when to stop, when do you feel it's the right time to stop? Is it when you're dead? Is it when you're sick? Is it when people complain? Like, when do you know when to stop? Personally, I feel like it's a combination of everything. You know, when you keep going, your body tells you when you're fatigued, or your friends tell you when they feel like you're exaggerating, or your family tells you when it feels like your priorities are not right. Like, people around you may mention it, but if your body feels it, or your spirit tells you, sometimes you'll know when to stop. And I don't know how others feel like they know when to stop, but I would like to find out. So feel free to share with me in the comment section. So yeah, that's the first lesson I learned from reading the story. You need to know when to stop. Second lesson I learned is that it's never enough. Yeah, it's never enough. It's never enough. Whatever you're doing, you realize that if you're chasing money, money is never enough. Come on, Dangote is still looking for money. Bill Gates is still looking for money. Like, the billionaires in the world, you never hear like they've retired and stopped looking for money. Like, they keep looking for money, because it's never enough. You just realize that, oh, if I can buy a car, I need a better car. If I can buy a house, I need a bigger house. If I can buy this, I need a better one. So you never, like, it's just an unending circle that keeps going round and round and round and round. And we're selfish beings. I myself, I love things. I love material things, and I'm not ashamed to say it. We're just selfish beings. And it's important that once in a while you should just have that little bell in your head that tells you, "Kenny, it's never enough." Even if they give you all the shows in the world, you just feel like, this new show just came out and I feel like I need it. You know, so it's important for you to know that whatever you feel like you're chasing, it's never enough. You never really feel like, okay, I've gotten it all. You always have that just that selfishness in you that just wants more. But it's important for you, you know, to balance it out, to know when to stop. Once you just feel like you want more, it's important for you to just rephrase your mind and know that, no, even though I want more, now is this time to stop. Now, the third lesson I learned from this book is that you need to ask questions. You need to ask questions. When this man went into that village and they told him he could have as much land as he wanted, and even the people took him there and told him to start going, he didn't ask, why have you not had, if it's possible for me to have all this land, why haven't you had it as well? Why haven't you? There were tons of people in that village, but nobody actually wanted the whole land for themselves, and he never actually asked why. And the simple reason was because they couldn't go around it and get back by sunset. They just got what they needed. So if he could ask questions on how the secrets to getting the land, they would have told him just go around and get what you need and come back, because the reality is you will never actually get everything. but he didn't ask questions. His selfishness was overclouding his sense of reasoning, and he just felt like, I can have all this land by myself. He didn't ask anybody what they thought, how it was done, nothing. He just blindly went there, and that was the last time he actually saw himself alive. Yeah. After he took as much land as he wanted, he died. So it's important for us to always ask questions, especially when we go to new places and get to experience new things. It's important for you to ask questions and find out how it was done before and why. Of course, you can always change the status quo, but it's important to always know the why before you try to change it, because you know what they say: if it works, why try to change it? So I think that's what I have for you this week. I don't know if you have any questions to ask about the story, or any comments, or any observations, or anything. Just feel free and put your comments in the comment section. I'll reply to you with pleasure. That's it for this week's video, and if there's nothing else, I'll just give you an adieu and see you again next week.